morning, everyone. So it is very heartening to know that one of our scholar, Mrs. Deepti Dwivedi, has qualified NET exam this time after a lot of challenges he has faced. So I have invited her to share her success story as well as so that many women like her throughout the country can be inspired, can be motivated, can get some insight. So welcome, Mrs. Deepti.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity that I am here and I'm going to share my success story to all the students. And I really feeling overwhelming that you have given me opportunity because from last 2 years I'm working hard for my NET exam, and this time I qualified my NET with 65% marks. So I'm very happy.
Wonderful. So I would like to request you to share your journey. When did you start your preparation, and what are the challenges you faced? What are the trajectory of challenges that you faced rather, and how did you overcome those problems?
Yes, sir, of course. So it was the time of 2020 when I started the preparation, and I will giving my thanks to you because you are the person who inspired me at that time, because I have completed my PG in 2007, and I after that I have done my MPhil in 2009, and I didn't think at that time because कि I someday I will do NET, because मेरे दिमाग में था कि it is very tough exam and I will never qualify that. Even I was the topper in my class in PG, but even somewhere I have fear that I can't do it. But after 10 years, when uh, my husband is your colleague, so as I knew from him that you are along with your work, you qualified NET. So I get some inspiration that if you can do along with your working of 8 hours, then why can't I do? Because I am a housewife and I get enough work 4 or 5 hours to study. So I get the spark from you that from that day I think that I can do it. So I started my preparation and I joined your batch. I think that was the first batch, and I'm your student at that time. So I started preparing my exam. Somewhere I'm confident in my literature subject because I love my subject, and in my PG I read that subject very well. So somewhere I am confident in my subject, but after giving my first attempt, I find that first paper is not easy, and without first paper, I can't qualify my exam. So I have given my first attempt. So at that time, I have done very stupid thing that I left 30 question in that exam. That is because of lack of time management. So from every failure, this is my third attempt, and from my last two attempt uh, failure, I learned some lesson that in my first attempt there is a lack of time management, and in my second attempt, I find that somewhere is a not I have not prepared well for first paper, so I lost from 2-3%. So I started preparing my first paper along with my second paper. So I devoted much time for first paper because that is my loophole, I think. So this way, so I decided that I will prepare my first paper as well, because this is the paper which boost your percentage. I think it bring a main difference in percentage, because second paper में आप कितना भी पढ़ लें, you can't score more than 70%, I think. But if you prepare well in first paper, it will really help you in scoring good marks. So that the way from my last two failures, I learned the lesson where I have to study hard and where I have to devote my hard work. So this way I start preparing my third attempt, and I qualified it.
There is a poem by Emily Dickinson that success is counted sweetest when it comes out of failure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
It
that
works. It works.
so that failure is very important. It is one of the part of our journey.
Yes,
So
sir.
we
So
must
because
fail.
every failure we learn something. If you don't get failure, you can't taste the success, I think.
Absolutely. So can you share your study materials? What are the materials that you referred for your preparation?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. So maybe people will trust me or not, but I just preferred less material for my study. I don't run about through the books. I have just 3 or 4 books which I use for my study only. For my first paper, I use KVS Madan, and definitely along with that book, because when I purchased that book, I don't understand anything in that book. There are 10 units in that book, and it is completely new for me, and I am the one person who has a phobia from maths. So it is very difficult for me to cover that DI portion and logical reasoning and math portion. But from last 4 to 5 months, I am daily using my practice of maths. I daily take 1 hour or 1 to 2 hours for my maths and reasoning. So this way I am come out from that lack of session, like my maths, I strong that part. So I want to share that for my reasoning and maths, I subscribe Byju's, and I improve that from there. And there are so
I think
many.
his videos are available free of cost on YouTube, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, I use free, I attempted all the free sessions,
Okay.
and through that I done my maths and reasoning. I used only one book for first paper, and for second paper, definitely from the my start when I started my journey, I have only one book with me. That is your book. That is World Literature in our Feast, and that is the only source for my second paper, I will say. And uh, if we from 2 to 3 years, if we look at the last 3 years papers, we find the trend. NTA always make a change in their trend of paper every third time. So but I analyzed from last year papers that at least 60% questions come from European literature. So I thought in your book, everything is given about European literature, very good manner. And along with European literature, there are other literature also like Indian, German, African, Canadian. We find everything in one place. So there's a no need to go anywhere. But if we follow last year papers, so there are some writers which are not covered in that book. So we can easily search from. I make the list of that writers, and I started noted down those writers in my book along with the that proper genre of literature, and I make my notes in that book in single book. And for literary criticism and for literary theory, I use your book, and same procedure I then done in that also. The things which are missing in that book, I started to note in that book, and every note I have completed in my single book. So 10 times, 20 times, 30 times I revised that book. So
Wow.
that's
Very
why
nice.
I feel like that is the only source which helped me to qualify the net.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Because
Uh,
we have to limit our source. If we run after the books or through the study material, we can't grasp the thing. जब तक आप एक चीज बार बार repeat नहीं करोगे, because revision is must in UGC net. Because we have the subject literature, it is a vast subject, and there is a no end of syllabus. But हमें smartly decide करना है कि what we have to read, what we have to read. Because जो इतने सारे writer, we can't uh, learn all the writers, but हमें देखना है what is the trend of question paper. So उसके अकॉर्डिंग लाइक यूरोपियन में मैंने देखा कि दे ऑलवेज आस्क फ्रॉम जैकोबियन राइटर, यूनिवर्सिटी विट्स, एंड in when we come to restoration period, they always ask one question about the diary writer. And after that, in 18th century, Dr. Johnson, then after Charles Lamb, De Quincey, then the Victorian Thomas Hardy. There are so many writers. Always they ask one question from these writers. So if we prepare these writers very well, so it will be very easy for us to answer this question, because today's trend is like we take too much time in memorizing the thing at the exam time, because the chronological order and matching of writers and books, it is very tough for us to just recall the things at that time. So if we revise the things very well, we can easily opt the answer.
Wonderful. Very nice. Can you share your percentile of paper 1 and paper 2?
Yes, sir. So in first paper, I got 98.63 percentile, and in my second paper, I got 97.28 percentile, and overall 98.63 percentile I got.
Wow, super. Very nice.
Thank you,
So
sir.
one very important and crucial thing that we learned, that do not run behind so many resources.
Yes, sir.
Like one of my students said that I have read 10 publishers. I have read so many good writers like W.R. Goodman, David Datches, Albert, and W.J. Long, but he did not qualify. So that quantity is not important. If
Yes,
you
sir.
select, yeah, that's a very good idea that I get from your point.
Yes, sir. I also have the book, Sir David Datches, but I never opened that book. I have, and my MA, when I'm doing the PG, I have Dwivedi book, the orange cover book that I have.
Dwivedi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was very simple and easy book, and it was very helpful for me in my MPhil entrance exam. So I read that book in my PG classes. So that was also a helpful one. We get all the basic details or historical events about the literature in that book. So I think that is the simple and one of the easiest book. So beginners can start their preparation from that book. And after that, I use only your book. And there are some trends like cultural studies and literary theory and criticism. So for that, I prepared some notes also. I make one register for that, and I put it all the things in chronological way. So that will very helpful for me at the time of chronological question in exam. So we can easily recall the things when you make the note yourself. That will very helpful for you.
So if you are preparing for a day, suppose 4 hours a day, so what time you spend for revision and what time you spend for new reading?
Okay, so actually, as I told that my first paper is very big. So from last four, somewhere I am confident about my second paper somewhere. So I don't devote much time for my second paper, but at least daily I have to revise for 1 to 1.5 hours for literature, and I know that my first paper is very weak, so I started giving 2 to 3 hours for my first paper. So for 1 hour, I used to do my DI for basic maths, and after that, I took one unit like teaching aptitude. So I select 5 days, and I started keeping read on that unit 5, and started to make note of that. And also along with that, I used to do the previous year question paper. उसके थ्रू मेरे को पता चलता था कि what they are going to ask again and again. So उसके मैंने notes बनाए अपने proper. That will helpful for me. So one by one, I covered all units like this.
Okay. So once you failed twice, how you retain that motivation for going for the third time?
It is very disheartful for me because I know that when I am doing your classes in first batch, when I left 30 question in my exam, so I thought how I will face you, because it is very shameful for me. Like after a PG student, how can I do the blunder mistake? I have never seen not seen the time at that time, and I left 30 questions, and I feel that everybody is mocking behind me that how kind of student she is. So that is very shameful for me. So that day I thought that I will not talk to you, and I will talk to you when I will qualify my NET. So that so that was very shameful for me that I left 30 question in that exam. And in my second attempt, I just lose the NET exam only for 2 or 3 marks. So that is also disheartened me. But again I started my preparation because मेरे को लगा कि इतना मैंने पढ़ लिया है, then मुझे थोड़ी सी मेहनत से I will crack the exam this time. And I thought that this is my first and last attempt. For me, this is the last attempt. If I will not going to qualify this, then I will never give the NET exam. Because after doing so much preparation and somewhere I'm confident that I am doing so much hard work. I'm taking out 4 to 5 hours daily, and I usually always when I cook food in kitchen, I take the mobile along with me, and मैं video खोल लेती थी like teaching aptitude and research aptitude. They usually in free classes they usually take one topic and they do 20 to 25 questions. So I through that questions I analyze myself कि मुझे कितने आते हैं, और along with that कहाँ concepts में मुझसे मतलब कमी हो रही है. Then I noted that concept in that time, and I improved my first paper. And for second paper, only one thing I have done, that is the revision. I keep on revising all the things again and again. That is the
Wonderful. There is general conception for a girl student that once they are married and they have the children, their life is over.
So it's I don't believe in that, because it's up to us. हम कैसा सोचते हैं, because जब तक हम स्कूल में होते हैं पेरेंट्स मोटिवेट करते हैं तो ये करना है, ये करना है, बट आफ्टर पीजी कोई आपसे नहीं कहेगा कि आप ये करो, आप ये करो. It's totally up to us that you have to be self-determined about your goal. आपको क्या करना है, बिकॉज एक एज के बाद कोई आपको मोटिवेट करने नहीं आता है कि आपको करना है, बिकॉज वी आर ओल्ड इनफ टू टेक द डिसीजन. सो इट्स ओनली अप टू यू कि आपको क्या करना है. हाउसवाइफ होना इज नॉट आई थिंक इट्स नॉट अ हडल कि आप एक हाउसवाइफ हो तो नहीं कर सकते हो. You can definitely achieve your goal if you will focus for that. So this is the most important, ki be focused, be determined, and do hard work along with the smart work. That is the main point. So we can achieve success. Housewives are not behind anybody. Anybody.
So you definitely broken this old conception, and
Yes,
you
sir,
proved
yes, sir.
that. Yeah,
if we ladies, अगर सर कोई भी कुछ भी सोच लेना, अगर आपको करना है then you have to do it. अगर आपने एक बार सोच लिया है कि करना है तो you can do it. Nobody will stop you.
So how did you manage your time, looking at your family, your children, your own health?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have 2 daughters. My elder daughter is 10-year old and my younger one is 5 years old. So I also give them some time, like studies. I help them in their study. And after that, like when they went to school, I take out 3 hours in morning after breakfast. After 9:30, I take 3 hours, like from 9:30 to 12:30 or 1 o'clock. I used to study my subject. And in afternoon, after lunch, I take 1 or 1.5 hour, because वो थोड़ा सा लेजी टाइम हो जाता था. तो मैं चूज करती थी कि मैं उस टाइम पे DI करूंगी और मैथ्स करूंगी, तो मुझे नींद भी नहीं आएगी और मैं वो अपना सब्जेक्ट भी उस टाइम कवर कर लूंगी. सो मैं आफ्टरनून में अपना मैथ्स करती थी. देन इवनिंग का टाइम मैंने डिवाइड किया था लिटरेचर के लिए. सो इवनिंग में मैं निकालती थी 1.5 और 2 hours उसमें. और रात में आफ्टर डिनर मैं 2 घंटे 2 hours मैं मॉक पेपर्स के लिए रखती थी. लाइक PYQs होते थे, उनके मैं खुद ही एनालाइज करती थी कि मुझे कितने आंसर्स आते हैं. मैं अपने आप को एनालाइज करती थी कि मैं कहाँ कर रही हूँ, कहाँ मेरा रह रहा है. सो मैं वो नोट कर लेती थी कॉन्सेप्ट, और मैं हर 10 days में जो पढ़ती थी वो रिवाइज करती थी, जो मैंने पूरा 10 days पढ़ा, and keep on revising all the things in every 10 days. So
Wonderful.
this.
Super. So now you are a successful mom. How your success is going to put an impact in the mind of your children?
So my daughter is very upset. Mama, आप हमेशा पढ़ते रहते हो, आप हमारे साथ खेलते नहीं हो. My elder daughter used to say that always, But after completing my NET and I qualified, Mama, अब तो आप नहीं पढ़ोगे ना because you have qualified your NET, so now you will give your time to us. So somewhere they also sacrificed uh, their time. So now they are happy that Mama, हाँ आपका हुआ. So maybe they are not knowing the things at this age, but after some time they will really feel proud that their Mama has done NET
Yes,
in English
definitely.
subjects.
Definitely. It's going to have a proud feeling for the children too. Because one day, if you ask a question, who is your ideal person in your life? The child should say, my mom or my father.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Yes, sir. Sir is the only, he's a very humble person. He always helped me in every step. बट मुझे था कि सर पता नहीं क्या सोचेंगे, फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट मैंने इतनी स्टूपिडिटी की थी, तो मुझे लग रहा था शेमफुल कि बिकॉज सर हैव सम फेथ इन मी. मुझे लगता था कि आई विल क्रैक माय एग्जाम समवेयर.
No doubt, no doubt. He is the rarest combination of humbleness and
He is
knowledge.
very humble and he is always ready to help the aspirants. So I'm very thankful to sir because he guided
Thank
me
you.
in every problem and always motivated us.
Thank you for your talks. Thank you for your
Thank you.
suggestions. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, Durgesh, and thank you to you also for giving a nice suggestion. When you read one novel by Thomas Hardy, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, the last sentence is "Justice is done."
Just
So what I feel that when you decided that no, I'll only talk to him once I qualify. So now the justice is done.
yes sir. I at that time I felt very bad कि सर को लगता था कि I will crack my exam, but मैंने नहीं किया. So I feel very ashamed that कि मैंने इतनी बड़ी stupidity की है. I left 30 questions, मैंने बिल्कुल time का ध्यान नहीं दिया. So maybe उस time मुझे लगा maybe मैं qualify कर जाती, but इतनी बड़ी stupidity मैंने की. So I improved my that failure and मैंने वर्क किया अपने टाइम मैनेजमेंट पे एंड फर्स्ट पेपर पे एंड फाइनली आई क्रैक माय एग्जाम.
Yeah, finally justice is done. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us and inspiring so many ladies. And this video will be available on my YouTube channel so that all the ladies of the country get inspired and get inspiration from your journey.
Thank you so much, sir.